They thought it was an accident. Until the truth came out. They said she drowned. They said her car slid off the bridge in the rain. They said it was just a freak accident. But her little sister found a voicemail. And that voicemail changed everything. June 5, 2019. Gainesville, Georgia. Rainy night. A silver Honda Civic veered off the edge of the Harrison Creek Bridge. Driver, 25-year-old Tanisha Caldwell. No skid marks. No other vehicles. No signs of foul play. Police ruled it accidental drowning. Case closed in 3 days. Sheriff's Department said weather conditions likely played a role. Everyone moved on. Except her family. Especially her little sister, Laya. Laya was 17. Quiet. Smart. Always watching. But something didn't sit right. First red flag? Tanisha hated bridges. Would literally take 15-minute detours to avoid them. Second? Her phone was missing. Not found in the car. Not found in the river. And yet, Tanisha never went anywhere without it. Third? Her car doors were locked from the outside. Explain that. And then, there was the voicemail. 2 days after the funeral. Laya was up late, scrolling through Tanisha's old iCloud. Buried deep in voicemail archives. Laya, I need you to listen. If anything happens to me, look at the photos on the USB. They're in my old flat iron box. Don't trust anyone. Not even the police. Not even him. It was dated June 4th. The night before she died. Laya's hands trembled. She ran upstairs. Tore through old boxes. And found it, hidden in a busted pink flat iron case. Inside? A black USB stick. She plugged it into her laptop. And that's when the real story started. The USB had photos. Dozens of them. Screenshots. Receipts. Texts. Tanisha had been dating Officer Darnell Creighton. A local cop. Respected. Charming. But controlling. Laya remembered how weird he was. Always calling. Always showing up. One photo showed Tanisha's swollen lip. Caption. He said he was sorry. Another was a screenshot. If you leave me, you'll regret it. Trust me. And another? A blurry pic of what looked like a black duffel bag, with cash, burner phones, and a Glock. There were also pictures of police files. Names. Cases. Drugs. And Creighton's name scribbled in the corner. Tanisha had been investigating something. And maybe, just maybe, she knew too much. Laya brought it to the police. Big mistake. The officer she gave it to? Creighton's partner. 2 days later, the USB was missing. Labeled unverifiable in the official notes. They told her she must have fabricated it. That it was emotional projection. But the threats started. First, anonymous texts. Drop it, Laya. Or you'll end up like your sister. Then, her mom's car windows got smashed in. No fingerprints. No suspects. Then, Tanisha's best friend, Shonda, came forward. Said Tanisha told her she had proof of a drug ring run by cops. And Creighton? Was right in the middle. Turns out, Tanisha wasn't just in love. She was wired. She had been working with an outside task force after seeing something suspicious during a ride-along with Creighton. Pills being handed off. Evidence being lost. Arrests that magically disappeared. She started collecting data on her own. She sent a copy of the USB to a Gmail account, truth_hides_in_badges at. That email account traced back to a retired federal agent named Marcus Rayburn. Laya found him. He lived 3 hours away, in Macon. She took a bus. Told him everything. He looked at her, stone-faced, and said, "Your sister was brave. And she wasn't the first." Rayburn had been investigating corruption in Gainesville's precinct for years. Said several witnesses had disappeared. Said Tanisha's name came up 6 months ago, flagged as a Civilian asset? She was being watched. And her death? Classic signature kill, he called it. Made to look clean. Like an accident. He showed Laya a file. Photos of Harrison Creek Bridge. Right underneath, fresh tire drag marks. Not consistent with skidding. More like, the car was pushed. But it wasn't in the police report. Why? Because the officer who wrote the report was Darnell Creighton himself. On the way back from Macon, Laya noticed a dark SUV behind her bus. Same one she saw parked near her house the night before. Later that night she got a call. No ID. Just a voice. Stop digging. We see you. She called Rayburn. He told her to record everything. Back it up. She uploaded the USB copy to the cloud. Then she leaked it. First to Twitter. Then TikTok. Then Reddit. The video got 200,000 views in 12 hours. Hashtag Justice for Tanisha started trending. And guess what? One of the comments came from an anonymous account. It said, "You missed the real tape. Look in her car's headrest." Laya convinced the funeral home director to let her inspect the car before it was auctioned. She climbed into the back seat. Opened the zipper in the headrest cushion. Inside? A tiny, sticky GoPro. She charged it. And when she pressed play, Tanisha's voice came through. "If you're watching this, I'm dead. He said if I don't shut up, he'll throw me off the bridge himself. If anything happens to me, it wasn't the rain. It was him." The last shot was chilling. She turned the camera to her face, crying, then whispered, "Darnell, I know what you did." Laya turned over the footage to Rayburn. He passed it to the FBI. Creighton was suspended, but not arrested. Why? Because someone higher up blocked the warrant. That night, Laya's room window shattered. She ducked under her bed, phone in her hand. A new text buzzed through. "You want truth? Go to locker 217 at the old train station." Next morning, she went. Inside the locker? A worn manila envelope. Inside, more names, photos, audio tapes, and one note. Tanisha wasn't the only one. "You're next if you keep going." But it was signed. Last time, Laya found a secret locker. Inside? An envelope. Tapes. Photos. And a note that said, "Tanisha wasn't the only one. You're next if you keep going." But it was the signature that shattered everything. Her sister was supposed to be dead. So either someone was pretending to be her, or Tanisha's death was staged. The train station was abandoned. Graffiti. Broken windows. Smelled like rust and ghosts. Laya clutched the envelope and ran. Back home. Back to her room. She locked the door and spread it all out. There were 5 photos. Each one showed a different person. A teenage boy with bruises. A woman sitting on courthouse steps crying. An old man holding a sign. "I know what you hid." And one name kept popping up in the margins. Project Clean Sweep. She had never heard of it. But the audio tape, that's where it got real. She clicked play. It crackled. Then voices. One sounded familiar. "Make it look clean. Like the others." Another man's voice. "She's too close. She's got the drive. I saw her filming. You know what to do." Then a female voice whispered, "They're not just covering up drugs. They're hiding bodies. Don't forget to comment, follow and subscribe." That was it. But the female voice was Tanisha's. The timestamp? 3 days after her death. Laya called Rayburn. Sent him the files. The photos. The recording. He was silent. Then he said, "Pack a bag. Now. You've crossed the line." Within an hour, unmarked cars showed up outside her house. Rayburn. 2 agents. No badges. They said she had to disappear for 48 hours. For her safety. They took her to a cabin outside Augusta. No phone signal. Just walls, weapons, and whispers. Rayburn sat across from her and laid it all out. Project Clean Sweep was a task force. Started legit. Goal was to wipe out gang activity in northern Georgia. But it went sideways. Real fast. Turns out, cops started planting evidence. Making deals with dealers. Eliminating threats who spoke out. Tanisha found out by accident. And someone up high made her disappear. Laya asked the question that had haunted her since the locker. Is Tanisha alive? Rayburn didn't blink. We don't know. But the body they buried? That wasn't her. Autopsy reports were altered. No dental records matched. Tattoo on the left shoulder? Missing. Rayburn said. She may have faked her death to survive. Or someone helped her vanish. Either way, she's not in that grave. Laya almost threw up. All this time. She wasn't mourning a sister. She was chasing a ghost. Rayburn broke it down. The photos in the envelope? They were the last 5 people who tried to expose Clean Sweep. One by one, they were silenced. But one name stood out. Remember to comment, follow and subscribe. Khalil Browder. Laya remembered it from Tanisha's USB. He was a youth counselor. Disappeared in 2017. Official report? Suicide. But the photos showed him with a busted lip, cuffed to a pipe. Laya's breath caught. She recognized the background. It was the basement of the old precinct. A precinct that had burned down a year ago. Or so they thought. Rayburn and Laya went there the next morning. The front was boarded up. But the back entrance? Unlocked. Inside, ashes, charred walls, silence. But downstairs? The basement was untouched. Still intact. Still active. File cabinets. Surveillance monitors. Blood stains. And behind one locked door? A makeshift prison. 4 beds. Zip ties. Chains. Old food trays still on the floor. Rayburn whispered. They didn't just silence people, they kept them. As they were leaving, Laya's phone buzzed. Unknown number. One photo came through. It was of her. Standing in the cabin. Taken through a window. Then a message. Rayburn is lying. He's not who you think. She turned to Rayburn. He saw the phone. He didn't even flinch. He just said, We need to go. Now. Back at the cabin, 2 men were waiting. Not FBI. Not agents. They had guns. Vests. No IDs. Rayburn smiled at them. Laya froze. He was with them. He stepped forward calm. You're smart, Laya. Just like your sister. But smart girls get killed when they dig too deep. She backed away slowly. But the second man grabbed her arm. She bit his wrist. Ran upstairs. Locked herself in the bathroom. Opened the window. Dropped her bag. Jumped. Landed hard. Twisted ankle. But she didn't stop running. As the men chased her into the woods. Headlights appeared. A beat-up white pickup. Driver door swung open. Laya! Get in! It was a woman. Hoodie up. Face barely visible. Laya hesitated. Then she heard gunshots. She dove in. They sped off. Silence for a beat. Then the woman spoke. Rayburn was Clean Sweep's fixer. You were bait. But you did good. You kept your sister alive. Laya turned. Looked at the woman. Eyes wide. Voice shaking. Tanisha? It was her. Bruised. Different. But her. Tanisha pulled off the hoodie. Tears in her eyes. They wanted me dead. But I had help. Faked everything. I've been collecting dirt for 2 years. You just blew the whole thing open. She handed Laya a flash drive. This has every name. Every deal. Every cover-up. Judges. Mayors. Cops. Rayburn. Creighton. All of them. Laya stared at it. So much power. So much danger. As they reached the city limit, Tanisha's burner phone buzzed. A single message. You think you won? Check your mom's house. Laya's heart stopped. The camera zooms in on the screen. Just 6 words. Your family's not safe. Not yet. Laya didn't blink. Her sister. Alive. Sitting beside her. Driving like hell was chasing them. She stared at the flash drive in her hand. This ends it? She asked. Tanisha shook her head. No. This starts it. Then, her burner phone lit up again. Another message. Your mom's house. 10 minutes. Tick-tock. Tanisha floored the gas. Laya called home. No answer. Called again. Still nothing. They reached the block, sirens. Lights. Police everywhere. The house was smoking. Not flames, just smoke. Gasoline in the air. A neighbor shouted. They tried to light the porch. An officer waved them down. Someone tried to force the back door. Your mom's okay. She's shaken, but she's alive. Laya's knees buckled. Tanisha caught her. But then, her eyes narrowed. Because standing across the street was Creighton. Smiling. No badge. No cuffs. Just watching. He tipped his head like he knew. Then turned and vanished into a black SUV. Tanisha muttered, They're not done. Laya looked down at the drive. Then at the smoke still curling around their childhood home. And whispered, Then neither are we. They got back in the truck. The flash drive was already uploading. Emails. Newsrooms. Prosecutors. Leaks. Every name. Every lie. Every file. All of it. Going live in 3, 2, 1. The end. Or maybe just the beginning. Follow, comment, and subscribe.